Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran, and today, guys, I want to talk to you about crystals and if they're actually something that can help you, can heal you in your own journey, in your own life, and kind of trying to debunk some of that stuff that's going on, okay, when it comes to crystals, all right? So, crystals, if you don't know, are just some sort of kind of like a mineral or rock that people claim, okay, that has some sort of healing qualities about them. And some crystals are used in a particular way to do something, so they have a particular quality about them. So, for instance, amethyst is a very popular crystal. You'll recognize it by its kind of sort of purplish hue, and that's known to increase sort of psychic abilities, healing abilities, and has to do sort of the heart chakra and third eye chakra a little bit. Okay, there's crystals such as this one, which you can pick up right now, which is rose quartz. Okay, so we have a crystal like this, and this is essentially what crystals look like. Not all of them are this big. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are polished, some are rounder. There's a huge variety of them. Okay, there's at least maybe 50 or 60 that I could probably recognize, and maybe 20 that I know off the top of my head. And then maybe there's a couple hundred of them all together. But there's a variety of crystals and a large scheme of color spectrums and little properties that they have along with them. Some of them are used to clear away negativity. Usually the darker ones, obsidian, right, used to clear away things like negativity, things like that. Other ones helping with prosperity, attracting love, luck. They all seem to have these little qualities attached to them. Okay, and that's something that people tend to gravitate towards and use, especially in sort of new age spirituality, new age awakening, things like that. People tend to have crystals and use them for what they claim are healing properties. Okay, so this is just my experience in regards to crystals and how they've played a role, however major or minor, in my own spiritual awakening process, my own spiritual journey from maybe a little bit over 2 years ago, almost 3 now. Okay, so let's just get started, get into this. So basically, do crystals really work? Well, in order to understand crystals, you have to understand the placebo effect. You have to understand that your belief in something is almost always determined in your ability itself to actually believe it. Okay, so there's sort of a quote that says something along the lines of whether you believe you can't or you cannot, it's true. Okay, so essentially, if you believe you can go get a job, then you can go get that job. If you believe somewhere inside of you that you can't get a job, you don't deserve that job, you're not good enough, then you're met with resistance and you seem to fail quite often, and that you don't get that job. So because you don't actually believe it, right? So when it comes to crystals, I'll share a little bit of my own experience. So when I first became awakened, and again, we're talking about a spiritual awaken, not some sort of position that puts me above everybody else. Just a perception change in the way that I saw myself, which I identify with the spiritual awakening process. Okay, and at the beginning of that process, around 2018, around the middle of that, I think it was springtime, 2018. I was attracted to crystals towards that time period. Never had them before in my life. I've seen them. I've seen people have them, but I never was attracted to them. Okay, so I began this process and I began collecting crystals. I think at one point I might have had maybe 20 or 30 even tops, which was something very odd for someone like me to do, because again, very growing up atheist, very against any kind of spirituality, any kind of religion, things like that. Okay, and I collected the crystals. I got them because maybe they had the healing properties like amethyst or rose quartz, things like that. Or maybe I just thought they were attractive and so I got them, right? But in either case, what would happen is that I used to meditate with them in a sense. I used to put them on my body and I used to feel the healing mechanisms of them, okay? I used to feel the healing qualities that they would have. If I was having a particularly bad day, I would get like 6 or 7 crystals and I would put them on my naked chest and I would just breathe and allow them to do their work, okay? And it seemed to have worked. It seemed to have done its job. It seemed to have connected me to what was meant to be connected to, and I felt very refreshed, and I would keep them with me as much as I could, have them near my bedside, and even to some degree would set up these sort of altars, okay? And you can tell that by some people who have, their tarot, their displays when they do the tarot cards, okay? A lot of people have crystals littered sort of throughout their reading, okay? And because they feel that maybe it adds some sort of ambiance to it, but it's also this sort of spiritual idea, and that they also have some kind of quality about them which would connect more readily to their angels or their guides and help them with their reading. Okay, that's sort of the idea. even I keep them around, but less to do with the fact that I need them and more to do with the fact that I like them. Okay, so at some point during that spiritual process, as I went on and it sort of grew, they stopped resonating with me. They stopped resonating with me because crystals were just another distraction. They were just another thing. They were just another part of what it looked like to be spiritual, what it looked like to go through this awakening process. Okay, because if you think about spirituality and you think about the sort of new age spirituality, especially, it's always the same thing. Crystals are a heavily involved thing. So it's hard to not even be able to know about them, to pay attention to them. You can go on something like Instagram and just see all these people claiming that you get these crystals and your whole day and your whole life will get better, okay? And that just simply isn't the case. It wasn't the case for me, and it's more than likely not going to be the case for you, because if you're actually going on a spiritual journey, if you're going through some sort of awakening process, a kundalini process, what happens is that your energy begins to shift and you grow. So you grow out of things despite them maybe even being spiritual. You grow out of things because you yourself are getting deeper. That's what it means to grow. What a spiritual awakening process really means at the end of the day is you're returning back to yourself. You're returning back to your truth of all that really is, to the love that you have for yourself. And in order to do something like that, you have to remove all of these other kinds of qualities outside of yourself that you've been using to sort of heal what you think is helping you. Okay, now this could be something as seemingly positive as crystals, and something as negative as marijuana or something, right? Something like that. So it's funny, my eyes starting to water as I'm saying this. Um, Crystals, they they don't do what it is that they started doing for me. Okay, is the sort of gist of what I'm saying here. And in that regard, crystals became something that was sort of a false hope. Okay, there was this element of placebo. Okay, that I believed them to work at a time because I was during my initial awakening when these spiritual outlets really were helping me out. Okay, and it wasn't just crystals; it was the sage, it was it was all of those little products, those things you can buy. They were all helping me because I believed them to be helping me, because what I was trying to take care of was the spiritual ego. I was trying to take care of this new identity, this new reality that was becoming a part of me. And so I grabbed onto things that I resonated with personally, such as sage and crystals, and I gravitated them towards me, took them into my own space, and let them be a part of me, and I them, okay? And so in that regard, they did help. But as soon as things started to become less about surface and more about who the hell am I and what the hell am I here for and what's my purpose and why the hell do I feel like this every time something like this happens, and how come I have these relationship issues, and how come I keep attracting these kind of people, and how come this happened, and how come I'm in pain, and how come I'm still depressed. At the end of the day, those questions were more powerful than the answers that crystals could give. And so this placebo effect, this resonance that I had with crystals stopped becoming true. It stopped becoming real. It stopped mattering. And so to that degree, the crystals just stopped becoming something I needed. And if you really are in the spiritual awakening process, what you will find is that you don't need them. You don't need them for anything. They have as much healing property as your own belief system allows you to have. Okay, so they have less healing quality than water. Okay, because water truly actually does heal you. Okay, and that's not just a spiritual ideology. That's true science. Okay, that's water is a healing property. Okay, it flushes out your systems, cleans your liver and your kidneys, and oftentimes a lot of us resonate with water and the emotional metaphors that are attached with water. Okay, so water in itself is more healing than crystals. Okay, I found that being out in the sun, going out in nature, is more healing than crystals. I found that simply breathing and meditating is more healing than crystals. Okay, anything that connects you to your love and your passion is going to ultimately heal you. Okay, music is healing to me more than crystals ever were. So it becomes this matter of, do they really work? The answer is really up to you and your particular phase of your life. Inherently, crystals have no more healing property than anything else. They are just a sort of mineral. If you think that something like rose quartz is going to solve any major questions in your life, you should reevaluate the way that you are looking at yourself and the world around you, because I promise you, this will not answer any of your questions. You will be in a bad space at some point in your awakening when you're just going so deep trying to figure what the hell is going on that something like this won't matter. It will be irrelevant to you. And this is when you get to a phase of your life when you've lost your job, you don't know what kind of career you're going to be doing next. Maybe you're in and out of relationships, or maybe you don't have any. Maybe you're desperately wanting love at this point, but you just can't make it work. You don't know what your purpose is here for. Too much spiritual information is confusing you. Should you move? Should you not move? You got some toxic people over here. Some don't know who your friends are over here. You want to do this passionate, but you're scared, and you want to take this leap of faith, and well, how come this is happening, and oh god, your car just got dinged by some asshole behind you, and all this shit in your life is up to chaos, and you're in the deep process, and you don't know darkest before the dawn is the only thing keeping you going, and something like this won't matter. It doesn't matter to your journey. You can never have met this crystal in your life, and you would have been fine, okay? And the proof of that is the people who are happy that don't have crystals. Okay, the proof of that is people that we would consider ascended masters who don't need crystals. Okay, we can say Eckhart Tolle, we can say Muji, which I think his name is, we can say Sadhguru, Buddha, all of these people who in their own shape or form, through their own version of faith and truth, are happy in their own right, found peace, discovering their own specific way in which they try to help others by giving that information, which people may or may not resonate with, but everybody can sort of agree. They at least know what they're talking about because it's all connected, okay? So in that way, we can see that these don't matter. They have no relevance, okay? And that if you don't want a crystal and you don't care about crystals, don't feel like you need to have them, because it won't matter. This will not help you understand why you're afraid. This won't help you get your dream job. This won't help you do any of that, okay? It doesn't matter. This has nothing to do with the connection of finding your true partner, your twin flame, your soulmate, nothing. Okay, you can collect them as much as you want, but ultimately it's going to rely deeply upon your own resonance and how much you resonate with these things and where you are in your particular journey. If you really are spiritually awakened and you grow and you grow and you grow, something like this becomes more of a side piece than anything necessary, okay? And for me, I never put them on my body anymore. I never play with them. I never do any of that stuff, because where I'm at in my own journey, I get more peace from doing things that I love and taking care of my body and going out in nature and meditating and things like that. That's where I get my answers from. That's what I've learned. I've been through a lot in my own journey, and I realize that the more that you look outside of yourself, right? Where am I going? Where's this? Where's that? Can I use this? Can I use that? Can I read this? Can I do that? That eventually, that sort of stuff just makes you disillusioned, and then at some point you're gonna have to go. Close your eyes, you breathe, you put down the crystals, you put down the book, you put down the phone, you put down the person, you put down the food, you put down the drug, you put down the whatever, and you come back into yourself, and that's it. Because that's all that you really have. This is still, at the end of the day, material. Okay, so that's what I have to say about crystals. You can certainly resonate with them still and watch this video, and maybe get some kind of truth out of that. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Anyway, I don't know. This is just my experience with crystals and how they've helped or maybe not helped me in the past and in the present. But certainly to some degree, they have some kind of benefit. But if you like crystals, you should get crystals. You should have them. If you don't like crystals, don't think like you're missing anything out. You don't necessarily need any of that kind of stuff, okay? So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And otherwise, please have a beautiful rest of your day. And we will talk sometime soon. Unless, of course, I get hit by a bus going to shop for crystals, in which case I deserve that. Okay, guys, let's talk later, and for now, namaste.